Some novels feel larger than life. Others feel deeply personal, almost as though they are quietly telling the story of ordinary human experience itself. David Copperfield felt very true to me. The relationships, the mistakes, the loyalty, the manipulation, the love, all of it felt emotionally real in a way that stayed with me long after I finished the book. I finished the book several months ago, and it still stays with me. And by the end of the novel, what lingered most was not simply David's story, but the people who helped shape the person he became. One of the things that stood out to me the most about David Copperfield is how emotionally real Dickens makes the world feel. Even though David experiences suffering, uncertainty, and disappointment throughout the novel, he is also surrounded by love for much of his life. There are people who genuinely care for him, protect him, encourage him, and help shape his character. That emotional warmth gives the novel a deeply human feeling. At the same time, Dickens creates strong contrasts throughout the story, especially between kindness and manipulation, and between goodness and corruption. Some characters genuinely want what is best for others. Others seek control, power, or advantage. One relationship that especially stayed with me was David and Agnes. Their friendship develops into love so naturally and sweetly that it feels deeply genuine. Agnes becomes a steady and calming presence throughout David's life. She represents constancy, goodness, and quiet wisdom. And what makes their relationship so meaningful is that it grows out of trust, friendship, and years of shared experience rather than dramatic passion. By the end of the novel, their love feels earned and deeply rooted. Another character I deeply loved was Betsy Trotwood. Beneath her strong personality and sharp humor, she has an incredible, generous heart. She takes David in when he is vulnerable and gives him not only a home, but protection, stability, and genuine care. She supports his education, for as long as she possibly can, and even after experiencing hardship herself, she remains fiercely loyal to him. What makes Betsy so admirable is the way she chooses to love and care for someone who was never originally her responsibility. Her strength comes from the depth of her care for other people. In contrast, Dickens gives us characters like Uriah Heep, who represents manipulation disguised as humility. Uriah consistently presents himself as modest and submissive, but beneath that appearance is greed, corruption, and a desire for control. What makes him unsettling is the way he slowly attempts to take over the lives and security of people like Mr. Wickfield and Agnes. Dickens creates a powerful contrast throughout the novel between genuine goodness and false goodness, between people who care sincerely and people who use appearance to manipulate others. At its heart, I think David Copperfield is asking questions about human character and life itself. Throughout the novel, Dickens places his characters into situations involving suffering, love, betrayal, ambition, hardship, and loyalty. And what ultimately matters is how each person responds to those experiences. Some characters become kinder and more compassionate through difficulty. Others allow greed, selfishness, or bitterness to shape them. The novel quietly suggests that life continually forms human characters through both suffering and choice. Dickens seems deeply interested in the question of what kind of people we become over the course of our lives. What David Copperfield quietly taught me is that people will inevitably make mistakes throughout life. But the way we respond to those mistakes helps determine what kind of person we become. David himself does not always make perfect decisions, but throughout the novel, he continues trying to grow, learn, and respond to life with kindness and integrity. One of the reasons he is able to become a better person is because he experiences genuine love and care from people like Betsy Trotwood and Agnes. Their support helped shape his character. But what also stood out to me is that even during periods when David experiences loneliness, mistreatment, or hardship, he still continues trying to respond to the right way. I think that is one reason the novel still matters today. David Copperfield presents a wide range of characters who respond to life very differently. Some people choose compassion, loyalty, and honesty. Others choose manipulation, greed, and selfish ambition. And through all of them, Dickens quietly explores how human character is formed over time through both suffering and choice. Each story leaves a trace, sometimes as warning, sometimes as invitation. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Haunted Pages.